Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And in this one, I wanted to talk about the Fog of War and Team Link. It's actually what I wanted to talk about in yesterday's video, but like I said, sometimes I just, in the middle of the day, especially if I have a long day, sometimes I just forget about what I wanted to talk about, and sometimes I just refer to Charlie Intel every once in a while when there's any sorts of interesting news that I might want to talk about, and that's how yesterday's video came to be. But eventually I wanted to talk about the Fog of War, and of course, coincidentally, I was thinking about Team Link as well, and obviously how they kind of relate to each other to a certain extent, I guess. And as it seems, year after year, in one way or another, or a multitude of ways, like in this game specifically as well, the creators, the developers, basically try to cater to the new players. Now, as somebody who's been playing for a long time, and I've gotten pretty good at the game over the last few years or whatnot, I very much understand where they're coming from, and I don't mean this as a disrespectful thing to say to anybody who's a casual or at this game in multiplayer or a brand new player or anything like that. But one thing I will say is that I am very proud to have gotten good at the game back in an era where it wasn't overly, it wasn't over catered to the noob players. It was a little bit like when you compare, let's say, 7 years ago till today. I think with the things that they've done right now with Call of Duty in terms of trying to cater to the new players, I think a lot of players, especially since COD back then was still going very, very strong as a community compared to now, I think a lot of players would have really chewed out Treyarch on this one, or the developers just in general of whichever flavor Call of Duty. But the thing is, with this subject in particular, with the Team Link as well as the Fog of War, I'm a little bit more kind of an in-between type of person on my opinions on both of these things. Because, well, in terms of Team Link, I'm a little bit lenient towards one side than the other. But with the Fog of War, slightly more towards the middle. But anyway, now obviously to one degree, if you look at it, the Fog of War, Black Ops 4 is very much a team game. That's basically how they said it even before the full release of the game. They said it during the reveal, or paraphrased it or whatnot. They basically said how much they're all about teamwork and stuff like that. And you know, you guys know how Treyarch is all about competitive, and competitive is all about teamwork. But the thing is, with this game as well, in terms of the way they designed it, sometimes I don't even know if it's fully intentional or not, especially since they were originally planning to do an Overwatch type of game, which again, at the same time, is very team-oriented. But anyway, the thing is that every single year they try to come up with new ideas to bring in new players, naturally, to keep things flowing, right? To keep the franchise from dying, so to speak, right? So this time around, they've introduced a new minimap system, which is the Fog of War and the Team Link perk. Now, these things are not really, it's nothing that's brand new news. It's something that I could have easily made a video about basically months ago, but not too many people since the release and since the nerf of the Fog of War have people been talking about it all that much, at least from what I've seen. Now, obviously, there could have been very much a lot of people talking about it, but remember, I don't watch too many Call of Duty channels. There's a handful of them that I do, and then I just keep it at that. Sometimes I'll just go a little bit beyond to seek something out that I personally am looking for. But in terms of this, I don't see players also, I really don't see players like bitching and moaning about it either. And the thing is this, in terms of the solo player, these perks, or this system, like with the minimap system, which obviously doesn't cost anything, it's part of the game, but if you combine, especially in combination, if you combine the Team Link perks, the Team Link perk, as well as with the way the Fog of War is implemented in this game, it could really make for a really, really good way to at least to a certain extent, to combat a full team, or a team when you're playing solo. And at the same time, though, and this is where this is where the debate starts, at the same time, it makes it that much more easier for full teams to absolutely dominate and beat the shit out of you. And at the same time, it gives those casual players something that you build on, what you start to get the skill with time. And what I mean is, in terms of knowing where your players are, in terms of how to use the minimap and determining where the enemy is going to be and all that kind of stuff, the game kind of does that for you now, especially with these kind of perks and with the whole minimap system of the Fog of War that's been implemented. Back in the day, we had to do that by heart. It's something that you just had to learn with time and effort and a lot of trial and error and understanding the spawn system as well, which every single good Call of Duty player, at least when it comes to pubs, actually every good player has these skills. And right now, they're just kind of handed to you on a silver platter. And the only reason why I'm even kind of in the middle on one of these subjects is simply because of the fact that it helps out the solo player against full team players. A few days ago, earlier this week, I played with Blame Truth and Nero, and the whole lobby was our team was stacked. It was 6 players that were at least as good as I am, or even better. So, I mean, we were stacked, and we were literally beating the shit out of another team. But the thing is this: when you have that kind of a team going up against you, Team Link is definitely a good thing, as well as the Fog of War. If you're all by yourself, it could definitely help you, especially if you are a noob. But again, because I had to learn things the hard way and I ended up getting better that way, it just seems kind of unfair that it's just given to other players from scratch, from start. But at the same time, it's not something that I see the community bitching about, simply because of the fact that, well, they're more bitchy about the whole, you know, we need more updates in this game needs more content, which they're absolutely right. And thank God that Team Link and the Fog of War itself are not like crazy, especially like the way they used to be in the beginning. But I wanted to know your opinions, because if you can't tell right now from the commentary in terms of the way that I'm talking, is like I'm so much in the middle of this in terms of, especially with the Fog of War or whatnot, because it's kind of taking me back and forth, because it's like on one hand I don't want it, and on the other hand it is a nice little tool to have if you're going up against a full team that's using the best perks and they're communicating and all that kind of stuff, and you can't communicate with anybody for whatever reason, or you don't want to communicate with anybody and you just want to play solo, but you just happen to be dealing with this, and then all of a sudden you got the Fog of War, and then if you team up with Team Link, it could help you out. But again, it can only do so much. But at the same time, there's that other side to where these skills that a good player has worked hard to earn is all of a sudden just given to players that are new. So there's like a back and forth. So I wanted to I want to know from your perspective, do you think that this perk, the Team Link perk, should come back in future Call of Duties? And do you think the Fog of War should be the permanent the permanent minimap system? What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section. In my personal opinion, what do I think? I think Team Link needs to go, and the Fog of War 50-50 I could do with or without it. Me personally, if you want to talk about like the hardcore, like when I'm in my hardcore pub stomper mode, I'd say it's better to not have the Fog of War, but it is what it is. Maybe it's just a Black Ops thing. Maybe it was something that they wanted to do with the Overwatch version of this game, which they never got to do because they were shut down by Activision, and to that extent I have to say thank goodness. No disrespect to Overwatch, but you guys know what I'm getting at. But at the same time, again, I'm torn back and forth. So let me know down in the comment section what you guys think and what your opinions are. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better. I'll catch you guys on the next one.